When the Tyrant's Tomb came out and we all read through it, there was a lot of discussion and debate that came out about Reyna's ending, and specifically the fact that it kind of was not very well appreciated. And I was one of those people. I did not like Reyna's ending in this story. But a few years on now, I kind of understand where Rick was coming from, because this is not Reyna's ending. This is a new beginning. To kind of understand what I mean about the fact that this is a new beginning, I'm basically just going to break down the entirety of Reyna's story, or at least the main facets of her story. So, Reyna, we know, grew up in South America with her dad, who, after kind of experiencing all the stuff with Paloma, kind of wasn't doing too great. He was not a good father, he was not a good man, and eventually the house that she and her sister lived in basically became the worst place in the world for her. It was haunted, it was traumatic, and they ran away after Reyna, in her mind, killed her father. And she continues to carry this trauma with her for pretty much the rest of her life. And I say rest of her life, she's like 17, but still, she's carrying this with her since childhood. And not only does she go from one traumatic place, she ends up on Cece's Island with her sister, a place that is nice, but, you know, it's kind of not living. Add in the fact that it's then taken over by pirates and they get kidnapped by pirates, it just kind of goes from worse to worse. Only when they defeat the pirates do they manage to escape. And that's when Reyna makes it to New Rome. And we kind of have an idea of how New Rome is. It's pretty intense. I mean, they have child soldiers. If that's not intense, I don't know what is. But she rises up through the ranks. And I do a whole video of this about how Reyna became Praetor. I'll be linking that in the description because that was a very fun video, even if it was very many years ago now. And she rises through the ranks to level of Praetor, with Jason at her side. And it's going well until Jason disappears. We don't actually know how long that they were in that position together or who was in the position with her beforehand. She seemed to have been Praetor longer than Jason was. But when he disappears, she is the one solely in charge, basically having the weight of an entire, almost nation, really. Like, New Rome is like, well, not a nation, maybe a city, a state. She has an entire state of people on her shoulders at 16 who she has to protect, and also try to push back a very clear rebellion being started by Octavian. Then Percy comes in, and it looks like she's going to have some of the burden taken off her as being the sole Praetor, something that is very uncommon, at least in regards to New Rome. You're meant to have two Praetors. And then they go to war with the Greeks, and she continues again to be the sole Praetor until, after the battle with Gaia and all that sort of stuff, Frank becomes her new co-leader. But things are continuing to not really do well for Reyna. She's still stressed beyond belief. She's not happy. And then Jason dies, Apollo appears, and we get a bit more background about other stuff that happened in Reyna's past. For one, her prophecy or fortune teller, I don't really know what it was, from Aphrodite or Venus when she was with Jason, when she is told that she will never find love. And is basically, you know, it's a whole kind of terrible thing. She's basically almost made out to be broken. As we now know, it is actually the fact that no, she is not broken, she just does not feel romantic love. But heteronormative society, etc., and, you know, anti-asexual narratives, you know, she was kind of made to believe that she should feel love in some way. But in this book, she realizes, in the best way possible, when Apollo confesses to her that, yeah, she's just not interested in that. And that's okay. She's happy in who she is. She's happy with where things are going. And it was that and all the other stuff, to me, that happened in the past that led to her decision to step down as Praetor and join the Hunters of Artemis, or Hunters of Diana in her case. And it is that decision for her to join the Hunters that a lot of people were really confused about, because, as has been the case with most people who join the Hunters, I say most, we have like 3 people. One dies in the case of Bianca, and then the other kind of doesn't really end up reappearing in the plot very often, which is Talia Grace. So, but kind of to some people, and admittedly, again, I was one of them, that Reyna was basically kind of, or Rick was basically being like, I don't know what to do with Reyna now, let's just have her join the Hunters and never see her again. And technically that's true, but she wasn't needed for the second book. But we do get a brief look at her in the final section of the last book. But for me, her joining the Hunters makes sense. Not only does it connect with her identity of someone who quite literally does not feel romantic attraction or romantic feelings towards others, joining the Hunters makes sense because, that's a thing that the Hunters don't do. They don't do romance. But there's also the additional fact of, yes, being in the Hunters is stressful. If you're in battle, you could die. Other than that, you're immortal and, things change and time moves on very quickly, and it's a whole thing. But it is a new start. Reyna has been through so much since childhood. She has experienced some of the worst things in the world. She had so much pressure put on her since she was young up until now that I'm surprised she has not aged. Like I'm surprised she doesn't have grey hair with how much stress she's been through. But now she's made the choice for herself. We don't know if she chose to be praetor. It doesn't seem like she ever really enjoyed being in charge. But now she's chosen this. She's chosen something that will give her the opportunity to find out what she wants. I mean, being with the Hunters, you don't have to stay with them for the rest of your life. We've seen that with Jo and Emmy in one of the earlier Trials of Apollo book. They fell in love, they left the Hunters. You don't have to fall in love with someone to leave the Hunters, as far as I'm aware. You can just at one point decide, yeah, no, I figured out what I want to do. I don't know if I want to be in the Hunters anymore. Artemis will probably be a bit bitter about it. I mean, she's a god, of course she will. But being in the Hunters gives Reyna the time to figure out what she wants, figure out where she wants to go in life, what she wants to do in life, without the pressure of an entire state, I'm just going to call New Rome a state now, on her shoulders, and the stress of trying to make life or death decisions. Sure, there may be times when that happens with the Hunters, but she's not the leader of the Hunters. She's just a member of the ranks, basically. She is going to have the time and space and the support of those around her who are not looking up to her as a leader or as a protector. They are going to be looking at her as an equal, something I don't think Reyna has ever experienced in her life. And that's why now, with this perspective, I like the fact that Reyna has joined the Hunters. Because give that girl a break. Reyna deserves this chance to figure out who she is and what she wants to do. And I can't think of a better place to do that with Talia firstly hyping her up and all the other Hunters supporting her. So no, I don't think this is Reyna's ending. I think this is the start to her new beginning, because now she can figure out where she wants to go. And I think that's pretty beautiful. But what do you guys think? When you read The Tyrant's Tomb, did you kind of not really like the decision for Reyna to join the Hunters, or did you really enjoy it? Whatever the case, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because everyone has a lot of thoughts on these things, so I want to hear more. As always, thank you all so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to check out my Patreon, my books, subscribe to the channel, drop a thumbs up, comment, share with your friends, all that good stuff. The support is appreciated. And yeah, thank you all so much again. I'll see you all next time.